So I'm going to try and do this more often. Basically, I'm going to try and get a Bible verse, something that I pray to God is going to be applicable to the collective as well as myself, like people that love God as well as myself. And so I tried that today. I'm like, all right, Lord, give me something, give me a verse or verses that you think would be very good for, all of us. And so I got Leviticus chapter 3, verse 2. I'm going to tell you now when I read this verse, because I did read it yesterday. I actually read all of Leviticus yesterday. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, I don't like reading this. Like, it doesn't sit right with me, okay? But here it is. All right, so lay your hand on the animal's head and slaughter it at the entrance of the tabernacle. Aaron's sons, the priest, will then sprinkle the animal's blood against the sides of the altar. So, as you can see, as a vegan, I'm just like, why? Why, out of all verses, would you choose this? And then God said, well, Tracy, because of Jesus' sacrifice, we no longer need to do this. The blood on the altar represents Jesus' blood. And it's interesting because there was sort of a conundrum how some people don't like the idea of sprinkling, blood on themselves to cover themselves or to plead the blood of Christ over you. And God indicated the altar after Jesus' death and resurrection. The altar became our bodies, our temples. So that blood, that sprinkling of blood to basically make it holy, has now been replaced with Christ's blood to make us holy, to sprinkle it on the altar, which is our temples, which is like who we are in Christ. I mean, it's through Christ's death, basically through his blood, that we become who we are in Christ. Because out of every single human being that has ever been on this earth, the only person who overcame evil was Jesus. He died and rose 3 days later, and his blood is the only blood on this earth, or maybe even in this universe. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Pretty sure it's universal, but yeah, it's the only thing that has overcome all evil. So it is so powerful. So 2 messages in that then. A, we don't need to sacrifice animals anymore because Jesus was the ultimate pure and holy sacrifice that was the sacrifice of all sacrifices. So there is no reason to sacrifice animals anymore for anything. Okay, which once again goes back to my purpose of bringing people back to Eden. So this is like here's another reason to do this. Okay, and then the second thing is sprinkling the blood on the altar. Sprinkling Jesus Christ, like covering us with his blood to protect us. Because, yeah, evil flees when you plead the blood of Christ over you and your loved ones. It's just they can't handle the holiness because it was that blood that was shed that overcame evil. Okay, so when I first asked this, I actually was like, no, pick another verse. But then God was like, no, just hear me out. So yeah, so very interesting. So all of the sin offerings in Leviticus, we don't need it because Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. That all of these sin offerings became redundant because Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. And through his blood, the sprinkling of his blood, the sprinkling of the animal's blood on the altar is basically now sprinkling Jesus' blood on our altar, our temple, ourselves, to keep us holy and to keep us protected. So anyway, oh, and even more so for those that take John 14:15 seriously. Jesus says, if you love me, follow my commands. Yeah, if you follow God's commandments, Jesus' blood is like uber protective, uber gets rid of evil. Because unfortunately, when you do break commandments, you are essentially allowing that you give authority to demons and evil entities to screw with you in your life. So anyway, that's that video. I'm glad that I decided to do it anyway, because I was just like, no, I don't want to talk about this, but yeah, I'm glad that I did. All right, God bless you guys. I'm gonna try and do this more often. I might start posting this on YouTube as well. All right, God bless you. Bye, guys.